See, I think that's the greatest thing, Todd, about what I've been feeling lately is just how everything is just natural.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, oh, we're live. Let
Yeah.
me just make sure. But no, you're right. It's like I've been saying it all week. It's like the challenge isn't like trying to figure it out. The challenge is getting used to this feeling.
Yeah.
Like getting used to it. It's a magical thing. So you're like, okay, when's the fucking shoe gonna drop?
Right. Well, that's what I was just going to say. We're so used to things falling apart that I think
Right.
a lot of people, if they're having tension right now, I
Yeah.
think that that's exactly what the tension is. Like,
Yeah. It's
should I be
our own.
feeling?
Yeah. It's like get out of your way.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely.
Get out of your way, man. All right. Let's see. Okay. I only got. Wow. This is just. I literally feel like I'm in a time warp. We got 15 people in the house. Okay. Let's
Hey,
make.
everyone.
Yeah. Okay. We're good. All right. Nasia, Morgan Lee, Laurel Gale. Thank you, Laura. Sue, Patty, Chrissy Johnson, Paul Handwriter. Oh, he's awesome, man. Paul Handwriter, he's awesome. Beth Bushlash, Cheryl Conroy, Cotton Heart. Sure, that was an amazing show a while ago. Yeah, Carmelo Lift. 24 people and counting. Let me take a drink of water.
Do it.
So, Ruby, Darlene Lambert. Okay, so Sara Richardson. I always used to say when we get on, I go, always think up, always think up, always think up. But oh my God, it doesn't fit now. It's
No,
just not that it's not good or anything. It's just like I don't know, man. It's just
it's
like what you see
very
is what you
different.
get.
Yeah.
Yeah, what you see
Yeah.
is what you get.
And I'm really grateful that
Mm.
always think up still fits,
Yeah,
but like I feel like I need to go through always think up and just really change a lot of things in there. You
yeah.
know, give it a little facelift.
The facelift. Yeah, but yeah. What served us, and you honor it. You honor what served us, and then you move into another dimension,
Yeah,
and you have more awareness, and you have more everything, and you have more. When the little men that we've been trying to like deal with, and be it anger, sadness, what the WTF, you just sit with it
hmm
because you have a greater capacity to sit with it, and it has a greater capacity to love you and heal you and give you more wisdom. And yeah,
yeah, and
man.
that's why I wasn't able to come on the other night because I messaged you back and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do this for sure. And I am so famous for ignoring my own self sometimes. And so I was like, I can't answer anyone. I have to sit with this and
You
just,
had to, yeah. And that's what
yeah,
you said. You said the world needs love. Let's do it. And I'm thinking, what you just said right now. I'm thinking, well, you made the choice, and that's the right choice.
yeah,
Even if you have to say no or change your mind or reset at the last minute, it doesn't matter.
yeah,
Most
with people
important,
that you love. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. And guys, I want to tell you that, when things like that happen, last minute stuff, I mean, Todd was super awesome. Like, do your thing, girl. We love you. We'll see you next time. I mean, it's not anything that you have to,
mm-mm,
you don't have to worry about all that stuff. And if you're around people that you do have to worry, you need to start changing your circle a little bit and stuff like that
mm-hmm,
because the real people are here for you that love you
mm-hmm.
and support you and understand that there are some days that are just like knock your socks right off you.
Yeah, holding space is holding space doesn't mean you got to be sitting right next to the person. Holding space just means I honor your journey, and yeah, you do you. That's what I
Yeah.
told you. Yeah, do you. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Oh man. I mean, God, what's been happening? I mean, I talk to all these people in my work, and so many of them have such great insight, and they have all these different incredible, like Allison Engel has this incredible thing with astrology and archetypal psychology, and and Cotton Hart, she sees the world through sacred geometry and waves and the etymology of words, and the message between the words, and I'm hearing all this, and I'm actually understanding it, and then I look at you because we have a beautiful history.
Yeah.
We have a beautiful, kindred soul tribe resonation.
Yeah.
And like I said, I don't even have to talk to you. I just like know what's happening. It's like almost like it's part of my heart or something. It's weird. I can't explain it.
Yeah, it's
But
pretty
yeah,
beautiful. We've been really seeing that we are all one.
yeah,
I've been seeing it in so many different things, even, old relationships that I haven't visited. If you see that the universe is bringing these things back up for you to feel it that way, that's the beautiful thing. I don't know much about astrology, sacred geometry. I dip into little things that feel good,
yeah,
but in my work, my body work, I really have been seeing people just really want to figure out where they're getting their selves off track. And it's been really beautiful because, when I first started all of this, it was a lot of people wanting me to do it for them.
yeah,
And I didn't even really know what I was up against in that department. And just, looking back over the last 3 years and doing these videos and stuff like that, it's really helped me even just talk to my clients that nobody ever sees, and I see them doing the work and taking the time to sit with yourself, and, taking the time to think before they communicate things. Like, just really, if you just put a lot of thought into your speech and your words and your thoughts and your actions, that's a lot right there. When you're thinking about what you're saying, what you're thinking, and what you're doing, that is a lot to keep up with in every now moment, every one of them.
yeah. It is. And it
And
beats.
so,
Yeah,
what else do you have to do? I mean, if you're paying attention to that, it's like, other things are like distractions,
I think that's called presence, as opposed to where we came from, which is you think about your thoughts, words, and actions after
Later. Yeah.
after the storm.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? You go through the storm like, what the hell was that? And why did they do that? And what is this? And then you
Right.
look back and you go, wait a minute, where was I at?
Yeah.
What was I thinking? And
Yeah.
then like you said, these things pop back up, and that's a lot of the time when the things come back to you,
Yes. When
and
you didn't
you
get
say,
it.
okay, well, yeah, why is this popping up again?
Yeah.
And I keep telling this story, but I find it so relevant. Yesterday morning, I had a show and I had problems, so I couldn't have the show. And it was real early, and I didn't sleep much. And
Uh-huh.
I saw a couple of things on Facebook, and this one person kind of like, took a shot at me, which it doesn't happen much. And if it does, I don't even say anything.
Right.
But I was tired and I felt uncomfortable, and I laid down. And I'm not gonna lie, I called her the Mother Goddess and just said, please, what the hell do I do? And, well, you're hurt. I'm like, yeah, I'm hurt. Well, be hurt. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, so I'm just gonna sit here and be hurt.
Yeah, and I love that you say that and laugh, because that really is what it ends up being. That's
It
the
is.
conversation. It's like,
Yeah.
all
Just
right,
yeah.
I'm hurt.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of when you're a little kid and you throw a tantrum and like your parents close the door and let's leave you in your room and you're just going, and after a while you're just sitting there in your own tears and your own BS and you're just kind of like, oh, well, that shit didn't work. It's still back on me. I'm still sitting here by myself
Yeah,
and I
they
want to
didn't
go
even
out there
really
and
care.
play. Yeah. They were the universe and they stuck you back into that beautiful universal isolation. And that's what always happens. And
Yeah.
that's what's so great about what you're saying. And like yesterday, taking the time off, because that's the place we didn't want to be. We didn't want to be alone. We didn't want
Yeah.
to think about these things, you know.
Uh-huh.
And that's
Yeah.
why I look back at that 2 years on the street, because that was just me in the universe.
Hmm.
And I didn't want to be there and I didn't want to think about these things, but I was forced to. And now you go back and it's the same spot and it's beautiful.
Yeah, and I have to tell you that, I do a lot of work in the streets, and a lot of people that are on the streets, they'll say that, that
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about anything else on the outside. And it's super crazy because, like, I've been doing work in the streets for, I don't even know, 15 years,
Mm.
and I never really understood them then. I used to always want to get them a house and
Yeah.
do all of these things, and they'd be very resistant, and like, I don't want to be controlled in the ways that you're controlled. A lot of things I didn't understand. And from an educated perspective, I'm like, okay, this comes from trauma and, all of these things. But now to get where I'm at today, sometimes I get teary eyed about it because it's like, that's what we're doing. Like, we're wanting to be free from all of these restrictions and labels and ties and things that make us feel like we don't feel free. Like when we hear someone say that they are free, that we could get a little angry or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's all the things. I mean, they're talking about this government shutdown. That was a big thing that happened in my day, yesterday. And it's like, everybody thinks I'm this like perfect being, but like shit still gets me, man. Like I was at the grocery store and I'm looking at this mother and they rejected her thing. And like the look in her eyes, like I felt her stomach burn in my stomach. I didn't want to like embarrass her and I was just like, oh my gosh. And then it happened like ahead of me, behind me. And I was like, whoa, like this could get out of control, like really fast, and it made me shake. I ended up giving her like the cash that I had, like just get something for you and your kids because I didn't know. I didn't know what that was going to be. And then, luckily I do these videos and I have a bunch of great people that I can call and talk to. And like things are changing. Things are changing. They're changing for us to do just that. Love one another a little bit better, encourage each other better, help people navigate better.
Yeah. Yeah. Sit with ourselves, love ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. More than anything, I mean, you described that situation. I've seen that situation and I've actually been in that situation, and it's a different atmosphere now, and going in the context of being with your own feelings and your own experience too. It's like the kid in the room,
Yeah.
This is all taken away from you and you're sitting there by yourself, and it's that same conversation. What at WTF universe, well, the universe is saying that's been a big thing for me since the 1st of January. Every day at some time in the day, I don't say I need help. I don't say I'm asking. I just say assist me in this, assist me in that. And it's a different realm, it's different now.
Yeah, and believe me, when you're asking for assistance and help and guidance and stuff like that, man, I mean, it's flying in your now moments. It's just, are you presently there? If you're preoccupied by the things on the news and the people around you that are affected in these ways, then you're not going to be able to pay attention to your blessing in that now moment because you're not present for it. And so that's why a lot of my work lately has been really trying to help people relax. And like, it's so funny because like, I never realized that I'd work so hard to learn how to really relax. Like,
that's it. Right there. That's it. And, you got to laugh at yourself, relax.
Yeah.
That's it. To me, that's like flows. Are you relaxed?
Yeah. Yeah. How do you feel in your body? I mean, the work that I do, I have to tell people to breathe sometimes. They'll have their jaws clenched so tight and, they just walk around like that. They don't even know. Sometimes, a lot of these things we don't know, but your physical body is going to tell you everything about you.
I'm learning that now. I've really been learning that since I got 17 days of technically like a bacterial infection at the end of the year. And all these things happened, but it was a totally energetic experience. I was in total vulnerability. I was in on the surface, a difficult situation. Morgan's here, and it's just like day to day, and Soulogy, and, and I'm like WTF. But there was something amazing because in this absolute vulnerability, absolute surrender, I was told, go do this. Go do that. And so many times I said, hey, I surrender. I totally surrender. I'm at utmost vulnerability. But this power comes out of it.
I know.
It's like putting on a cape.
I know.
But you still feel human. You know what I mean? And that's weird.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it feels really weird. Like I've been working in energy work for almost 12 years now. And like I feel like I used to have to work really hard to see the magic. where like now it's just like every moment. Like I almost wish I could have one of those little, I keep saying it, one of those little cameras that you just wear on your forehead, because like people just never believe like the things that, you know, I'm at my uncle's funeral. My uncle passed away, right? And this pastor's up there and he's pissing me off. Like he's so like bland and like there's nothing about my uncle really like in this thing. And I'm like, I'm going to be nice and just sit here, you know? And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, there's like this chime and it's like, it's magically delicious. And I was like, shut up. Shut up. And like, only something like that can really show you, like, just chill out, man. Like, it's fine. Like, whatever happens, we're here. Everything's good. Like, it's everywhere. These little things are everywhere.
Yeah.
That's the fun part.
It is. I just told Morgan, this is it's eerie as in strange, but it's freaking getting really cool.
Yeah, it is. It is. And you know, it's everything, Todd. It's the people, the conversations, nature, you know, strangers, songs, like, you know, places where you'll be like set up and just like watching people and observing people and just, you know, maybe somebody's going through something in their health and I'm looking at them and I'm just like, I mean, really all you're not doing is breathing. Like just breathe in life.
Yeah.
You know, people are so used to just being so removed from themselves and just really focusing on everybody else and helping everybody else. And now it's just a really big thing for go love yourself, man. I mean, go love yourself, romance yourself. I mean, you have to really be the one. You have to be the one.
Yeah, that's right. That's what triggers the whole thing. I remember, you know, going back like a year, you know, year and a half in my relationship, you know, and I was obviously, you know, I was obviously still dealing with a lot of stuff on a personal level, and it's very 3D.
Yeah,
you know,
it's real though.
Wounded masculine, and I'd call Morgan, and she'd be like, you know, she had like a little sickness or a cold, and I'd be like, I'm sending you healing, and she'd say, don't send me healing, send it to yourself. Well, I didn't get it then, but I get it now. I get it, because that's right. That's right. We're the universe, and that sounds cliche, but God, you just, you know, that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, it mirrors outside of us, and all that other crap goes away. And this codependency, this codependent vibration, this codependent frequency that we have, that's way beyond, you know, a romantic relationship. It's every relationship. It's breaking down. Somehow there's like a force, not in a bad way, that's putting us in that isolation, in that context, you know, in that energetic context of us in the universe just having a no BS mainline communication, and that's where it's led us to, you know.
Yeah, and what I learned, I did a regression. It was like almost about a month and a half ago, and you know, I studied the chakras, I studied disease, I studied energy, meridians, you know, all of these things. I work on the nervous system. And even for myself, I kept running into very similar patterns, just whatever, you know, whatever it would be, whether it be like make a lot of money and then just kind of like flatline or, you know, just whatever. And I really got to see in this regression how each and every one of us is carrying emotions from the beginning of time, from the beginning of time. So it's like the attitude from that thing that happened at the beginning of time. And, you know, we call it a trigger or we say it's our fear or something like that, but it's not even our thing. And so, you know, I've been looking in at myself for quite some time now, and it's scary. But when you start to really learn how to really look at you, you really start to see that that thing that you're afraid to face in you, or that thing that you're embarrassed about, or that thing that you had gone through your whole life, or maybe everybody gets it somehow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody has it. Everybody feels that same feeling. And it's all weird. And where did it come from? And it didn't come from my experience. It comes from the very beginning of time, which just really confirmed like everything that I have been doing in all my videos all the way through. I never knew what the hell I was doing. I was just getting on here, feeling this shit in my heart, and just coming on here and just letting it rip. Like, I know, and trying to just share my not so great moments for people to see, like, this ain't cookies and butterflies, guys. I mean, when you're releasing energy and when you're facing things in your life, I mean, you can shake, shit, throw up, cry, yell, isolate. There's all kind of different things that happen, but you're doing that to get to the float, to get to the place where it's not the place where nothing else goes wrong. It's just kind of the place where it's like, all right, so that went wrong, that's going right, I'm swinging over here.
Yeah. Yeah. You're clearing to feel. I mean, you clear it, and something else fills in.
Yeah.
And as time goes on, it's not the same old bullshit.
No.
Because you learn. You might get slapped a few times before you figure some things out, but it's quick. It is quickening. It is.
Yeah.
It is. It really is.
Yeah, and people are just magical, and so that's my thing, and that's the thing that I want everyone to know the most. Is my head cut off?
No.
Okay.
No, you're actually glowing now.
That's the part that I really just want people to know, is that, like, you really are magical. Like, no matter what kind of house you grew up in, or what kind of car you drive, or your circumstances from your past or anything, like, if you can start right now and you can speak good things into your stuff, like, speak into your food, speak into your kids, speak into, I mean, everything. Like, people say I'm funny. Like, if I have a favorite sweater, I'm like, I love this sweater. Like, I love my, and it's just like really appreciating the things that you have and stuff like that. A lot of times I've noticed it's really easy to get off onto a tangent of this government stuff, losing people, what people are saying in these groups, and all of these things, and just really, love you up, fill you up, put affirmations, things that get me through when I feel like nobody understands me are my affirmations.
Yeah.
You are beautiful, you are smart, you are funny, you are, you can endure this. Like, you have to really talk those things into your life, because it's up to you to make it worse or easier. Everyone's going to experience it. It's just, do you roll in the doo-doo for 15 minutes or 15 months?
Yeah.
Because you can do it either way. And it's like, I used to try to pull people out of the doo-doo, but I can't pull them out anymore. I know that I can just...
That's the truth. That's just a distraction, man.
Yeah.
And that's that codependent frequency. That I'm going to do this for you, and not really saying I'm going to do this for you so you do that for me, but it's more like, I'm going to do this for you so I'll feel good about myself.
Yeah. That is, you are so right, Todd. And, I got so distracted, sometimes doing these videos with the things that people wanted me to do, or wanted me to meet these expectations, or, do these certain things. And I'm like, whoa, like, I got so far off sometimes to the left, where I'm like, do you remember that you're doing this so you can have your life the way you want it, not for everyone else?
Yeah. I love that thing. Allison quoted Jordan Peterson and said, look for your highest resentment.
Yeah.
Because we always talk about resistance. And it just clicked to me. I was like, wow, when you talk about resistance, well, let's think of the word resist. Like that's going to help me find my shadow. Okay, Todd, look for what you resist the most. I can't even go, but if you say, look at what you resent the most,
then it makes sense.
I see all these doors that appear before me, of these, and I'm like, okay, well, there's the gold.
Well, and
You
that's
know,
why I tell people not to hold on to like these wordy words and stuff like that because like, look at that little thing, that resistance and resentment, right? And so like
mm,
for 3 years I've been saying resistance, and like I wish I would have known that resentment sounded better to some minds than that. And it's like, yeah, what pisses you off?
there you go. Who pisses you off?
Who
What
pisses you
pisses you
off?
off? What
you
pissed
know,
you off in
and
your
and
life?
and dig and dive deep. That's why I love Ange. You know what I mean? Because every time something was going wrong, man, she wouldn't talk to me like a normal person. She'd be like, all right, well, what did that bring up for you? And I'm like, what
Yeah,
do you mean?
yeah,
I'm pissed.
yeah, yeah. Exactly,
But that
exactly.
that is, I mean, and resentment is a good word for that. What really makes you angry? Because if you just ignore it and go do the laundry and clean your house and forget about it, it's going to come back up, and you're going to get that test again. Like, okay, are you going to get pissed or are you going to float?
Yeah. I love what you say too, because you said we all go through, we all carry all. We look, if we all care, if we're all one, and we all have equal and full access, to, let's say, to the Akashic Infinite Intelligence, we also have full share fully the whole experience since the Big Bang or whatever. So every one of those hurts, every one of those things, until we say that's not mine, that's not mine, that's not mine. You know.
Yeah.
So we share it all.
And it's really hard to say that's not mine to something that feels very personal.
Yeah.
And so I send everybody love, and I'm thankful. Let me say thank you again for my friends who that I have now, because when I message them or talk to them about anything, they're like, okay, now remember that's not yours, and let's keep it moving now. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So like I can see my growth just in how things come up. It's not that they don't come up anymore. It's just like when they come up, my everything is different about them. And
Yeah.
it's just like you're learning still. Like even there might be something that you feel like you got it. Like, okay, yeah, man, like that was a lot easier this time than the time before. But then like it comes back up again and it comes a little bit different, and then you're like, man, I bombed that. Like let me
Right.
but it's like loving yourself even though you didn't really do the best job in that space, and like you have to try it again. And can you laugh at yourself about that? Can you find rest in that space? Can you go back to yourself and say, hey, listen, like you're cool, man, even though you didn't come through, like you're
Yeah.
still all right.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. That's right. You can. Yeah. And that's all you can do. You know. I
Yeah.
remember. I remember because I'm going back more in my head to ground just quickly those first 2 years.
Hmm.
And I remember I would, every day get up, walk, 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 walk. That night I might end up in a bar dancing. I might end up doing something stupid, and I'd have to get up the next morning and say, hey, you know what? You're okay. And just keep going. I'm not blocking it out. I'm dealing with it as best I can. But now there seems to be a vibration of like appreciation, almost like a life review, and you look back and say, you know what, you did this and you did, look where you came from, like you just said, look where you were, look where you are now. We got to
Hmm.
give ourselves some credit. you know
Yeah.
we're warriors, man. True
Yeah.
warriors.
And it's funny because I never realized in all this time that it's been just trying to, like, I've always just wanted my body to feel better. When I was 13 years old, I couldn't even walk.
Wow.
And from 13 to 17, I had 5 knee surgeries, and I didn't walk, I didn't date, I didn't wear high heels, I didn't play sports, I couldn't even barely just go to the museum. And bit by bit and piece by piece, I've just been really just trying to figure out how to get my body to feel peace. And then as I learned these different things that work for my body that was riddled with pain everywhere, I just share it. I mean, I can't help but to share it. Like I stay up late to share it, like and so that builds my client base. My clients aren't all healed. It's a lot of like crisis calls. It's a lot of holy shit, I'm going through this thing right now. What do you expect me to do? But I love to work with people that are going through really deep, hard times because mine was really deep and hard. And
Yeah.
so, like, when they tell me that it hurts so bad that they shake, I know that.
Yeah.
But then again, I also know too that you can get that out of you by facing your emotions, by getting in there. I know now that there are all kind of techniques that fit all kind of people, and that when you feel a pull in your heart to something, when I first got energy work, I felt this pull in my heart. The person that gave it to me, how it went down, and it was so out of the norm of what everyone was doing and what you were supposed to be doing. But something in my heart just said, keep going and keep doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I couldn't be more excited because now here I am 35 and I feel younger than when I was 22.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
That's me. I
yeah,
feel a lot younger than 57.
yeah,
I
yeah. And
really
you
do.
and you look younger and you grow and see that's the thing. And you go through these times where you don't always look the greatest and you're purging and you're going through it and you might not feel like doing anything. But when you get through that and you come back out, then you do feel lighter. I mean, like you literally feel like you're just dropping off like loads of stones
Yeah.
and just leaving them.
Yeah. And then you have these kids, man.
Well,
They're
and
like they're like walking, high frequency
beings.
code
Oh yeah.
activators.
And I'll tell you that I never realized that my work was going to turn into children and pregnant women and
Oh wow.
the sacredness of childbirth. But through having true and through being a mom and through what I have been through systematically,
How did
my
that
heart.
evolve? How did that evolve? So you're working with children, working with pregnant women?
Yeah, so I massage a lot of pregnant women, do a lot of energy work on them. And so, I teach them about energy and the energy that they're around and certain things that they feel and how to do things a little bit more natural. Um, because, I kind of did a holistic baby on a budget. I was kind of balling on a budget trying to have my baby holistic because when you come out and you're having your babies holistic and stuff like that, a lot of things get real pricey. And so just knowing how important it is for, us regular people who want to have our babies as natural as we can, I just try to learn as much as I can and just get as much like peace and love to these women and these babies as you can because it's real important to me that pregnant women are peaceful
Yeah.
no matter what their situation is, no matter what they're, been through.
Yeah. Because it carries over,
Oh yeah.
That's that kid's universe.
Oh
You know?
yeah. I mean, that your vibration, the mother's vibration has everything to do with the child. And, I believe that the dis-ease in our energy fields, they come from right then, that when our DNA is coming in and stuff like that. And so just like listening to Mozart helps us as adults, it helps that little fetus inside of you
Yeah.
too, just like eating good helps us, it helps that baby grow, the cells grow better and stuff like that. Meditating helps, stretching, massages.
No, you do energy work, but you're also and real focused on the body. And you're saying that you're seeing a lot of people who are saying, what am I feeling? They're elevating, they're expanding.
Yeah,
Are you seeing in your clients like the effect on the physical body? Are you
yeah,
seeing healing there?
yeah.
Yeah.
The people that just try to push through things, their bodies are taking them out right now for them, to really focus. Right now, my dad's in the hospital and
Mm,
he's the one that taught me how to bulldoze through things. And his back's been hurting and he's been bulldozing through it. And his body's making him take some me time right now. And
yeah.
when you're talking to somebody who's used to moving around and getting stuff done, he kind of hates our conversations.
Mm,
But it's funny because I think he's starting to love our conversations because the more he is taking that self time and that reflection time and doing these little dumb things that I have everyone do, you're seeing this joy and peace come into him. And it's like, I get it that it doesn't look like your typical Western medicine healing, but this is the healing that's taking place right now. We're really talking a lot about feelings, our heart stuff. You know, how does that make your heart feel? How does it make your heart feel? Let's talk about it, you know,
Wow.
because this
Yeah.
stuff, it's deep, man. And it's with men and women and parents and children and lovers and friends and just everyone. And I think it's just really important to tune into, you know, the heart. And when you're talking to other people, make it heart based and heart centered. When you're working, make it heart centered. When you're everything you're doing, do it with love. Get a shower, put your lotion on with love, man. Like, just, you really gotta love yourself. And then as you do that, you know, it's like everyone around you loves you too. Like, oh man,
Yeah.
you just made my day. You know, and it's like, I made your day because I made my day.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a classic example of another energy that seems to be real prevalent. You know, I've seen some people actually cite it, you know, with these dates and January eclipse and all that. And that is the masculine. Your dad, energetically, that's a great classic example. Your dad is opening up to you, which means he's opening himself up and dropping the walls and the
Yes.
bullshit and being more vulnerable and
Yes.
raw.
Yeah. And
And
I'll
that,
tell you, I leave in tears, and it's happy tears because it's like,
yeah,
you know, I always knew my dad was like the biggest love bug ever, you know, but he always like put on his war uniform, you know, and I would
yeah,
just look at him like, you even look silly doing that right now. Like, and you know, I would be the one like 6 years old, like, you just spit all over the place trying to talk, you know, and he's like, I'm trying to prove a point. And I'm like, yeah,
yeah.
but, and so like now, I mean, just to see him talking about his heart and his feelings and, you know, how certain situations like, you know, made him feel on the
Spit all
inside.
I'm sorry. You just gave me a flashback. I had before I got on the road, I had my two little ones. They were probably what 14, 15, you know, 13, 14, 14, 15. And man, that was a trip for a couple of years. But anyway, I used to have this weekly thing where it would build up for the whole week, you know, and I'd sit them in the kitchen and I would pace in front of them. I'd be like, da 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 da, you know, you need to help me do this and you're not doing that. And I would scream and shout and spit. And they would just sit there and look at me and they'd say, you know, kind of like, oh, are you done?
Yes.
And so finally, after about 5 or 6 of those, I realized I was done. I was the only one suffering.
Yeah, well, and you know, that's the thing. And you know, that's even what my dad and I were saying. Like, you know, he's like, I used to get my own self worked up, you know,
Yeah.
and it's funny because, you know, this dad that I'm telling you guys about, he's my stepfather. He's been my dad since I was 3 years old. And so we don't even have the same blood. And like, if you put me and all my sisters together, like, I look like him the most and act like him the most by far, like more than any of them. And they're his biological children. And so, you know, I mean, it's such a great thing. You know, in my regression, I had a big time with the masculine and the feminine, right? And it was almost like they were talking to one another through me in this way that made me really understand what men and women and the man and the woman in all of us is really, really going through. And it's
Yeah.
like just these really core emotions of it all. And then to see it in the physical life play out, like you said, in my dad, in my clients, in the things, in the releases that people are having. So even though a lot of people don't feel like they're at their best,
Yeah.
I can see that they're at a better place than they were 3 years ago because they finally did cry about that.
Yeah.
Or they,
There's a softness.
yes,
There's the softness that's showing up, and you're right. And I think it is. I think it is the masculine in all of us. You know, some
yes,
of it. If it's me, like me, I'm masculine. It's probably more apparent, but I see it in some of the guys I work with, and I see it in some of the women I talk to. I mean,
yes,
that lady Camille was talking about. You know, she had an old corporate career, and she was very masculine and very intellectual, and you know. And I said, well, what happened? And she said, well, I can only say one word: soften. I just
Softened
started
up.
softening, and
Yeah.
that's, yeah, we get so rigid, and there you go. What's the opposite of rigid? Relaxed.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
and it's funny how the universe will push us to do these things. I was always very, dominating in my masculine side. I'll work for myself, lot, the plan and everything. And I want to say, for the past definitely 5 years, I've really been softening up. So, it's a process, guys. So please be patient and please,
Yeah.
give yourselves love, because it's not like you're talking to your friend one day, like, yeah, I'm going to soften up. And then, all of a sudden tomorrow you're like handling it like a daisy. No, that doesn't happen,
No, 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 no,
It
no.
doesn't.
The
It doesn't.
softening, yeah, the softening. I mean, it's the allowance of tears. It's the acceptance of, there for me as a man, it was like as the shit was flying, I felt stupid, man. I mean, I was like, God, stupid. Why can't I
Yeah.
get this? And then finally it went into this thing of, you know what? You might be a little stupid, but you just got a little wiser. So why don't you just take it easy on yourself and relax? I mean,
Yeah.
relax. Just,
And for me as a woman, I always thought I had to protect myself. And so when my fire would come up, that would be like straight protection mode.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then whenever I would get out of it, I would be like, I mean, come on, Sarah, like you didn't need to say anything or do anything. Like you're totally protected and you know this.
yeah, yeah.
But it would be the times where I would like fear that, you know what I mean? Like some way I had to like protect myself. And even me, I would feel stupid as hell afterwards. Like I should
Yeah.
have just shut up. Like that was dumb.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, that's another thing. I know I talk a lot. I'm a talker, but I notice that it's becoming less, less and less. More listening, more
Yeah.
presence, less talk, in my foot in my mouth, and and minding my own business. Just minding myself. Taking care of me. That's. I know it sounds like really cliche and corny, and but it only takes a little bit. It takes like 10 minutes. Lay down, feel this, feel that, get
Yeah,
back
and
up.
it doesn't sound cliche at all, really, because that's what it is. That's really what it is, normally when we get involved in anything else outside of ourselves, it's only to distract us from ourselves.
Yeah, exactly.
And so we are like master distractors of our own selves. And like, give me some love, give me some hearts, because I know you're feeling this. We all do this. This isn't like there are no kind of levels. Like some of us are super cool when it comes to this certain thing, but then when it comes to this, we just must be distracted. And so it's just like you said, what's the thing that gets in your way the most? That's the thing that you need to be working on. Maybe my thing isn't the same as your thing, but
Hmm.
everybody has their own thing.
Yeah, but it's
And
always the same thing. It's always this one.
yeah,
Get out of your own way, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And most of the decisions that a lot of people make, and they are making them to protect their heart when they, as we're learning that, we don't really have to do that. We don't really have to cling to, other people to make our heart be full and free,
yeah,
And I used to say that in a lot of my videos. If I depended on these videos to be happy, I would have committed suicide,
yeah.
because I mean, yeah, I have a lot of really great things, but man, I've had a lot of really crazy things too along
I
the
get.
way.
I know. I just saw my memory thing from pop up today, and this was only a year ago, man. 1 year ago. I mean, like my hair's down to here. It's all wild and crazy. I've probably been drinking. I'm on there doing a radio show. I'm like, oh my God, I can't even look at this. But then I went back into look where you were, look where you are now. God, it's
Yeah.
just like
Well, and
you're
that
just like
just goes to show you that, you aren't, every one of us that does these videos, we're not like these, Buddhist monks that are sitting on the hill, meditating for 95 days straight and all that, like my life's crazy as hell sometimes. Like my baby's not sleeping the same. These moons are affecting her. They've changed my cycle, everything. But it's just like finding a peace that it doesn't have to be like everyone said that it has to be when you piece your life together. And the more you're able to let go of what everybody thinks your
Yeah.
life should be, the more you're really content with what it is that you have in your life, and you
Yeah.
don't need stuff to make you who you are.
Yeah, you know, and the other thing too is, and God, I heard because I've had the luxury of being with Morgan, but I've heard these things over and over and over, and I keep telling this part of it. I'm like, I would always ask her, what does that mean to embody? What does that mean to embody? And now I get it, because everybody can tune in. Everybody has that stuff. Everybody can even say it,
Yeah,
and
live
but
it.
to actually live it is it takes a conscious effort that's beyond. I mean, it really does. It takes a conscious, like breathing. It takes a conscious effort for me to get up in the morning yesterday, get hit with a couple of things, like, okay, I need to sit down and
By myself.
I need to work this out.
Yeah,
And how painful is that? But I will tell you this: a year ago, 6 months ago, I wouldn't have done that. I would
I
have said,
know.
"Let me go smoke a joint," let me go eat something, let
Well,
me go
and that
listen
is the
to.
beautiful thing, is that, it just happens at such a natural process that I really feel like, this whole ascension process is really a lot like my work. The more you the more you focus in on something and the more you hone in on something, it's like the harder it becomes. Where if you can learn how to totally flip, the other way and flip up into a higher vibration, then this thing over here that you couldn't work out,
Yeah,
it just magically works out as soon as you point your eyes over this way. And so it's like,
yeah,
the more you sit and stare at something or think about what you messed up or think about, anything, the more that you can like kind of dig yourself in a rut about that.
yeah, yeah.
And it's
Which
just like,
is, yeah,
there's no mistakes.
yeah,
There's no mistakes. We
yeah,
all have it and have done it. It's just like seeing where are your hang-ups, like where are
yeah,
you getting hung up, like, and especially when you're embodying it, especially because that's like in your now moments, like,
yeah,
so where in your now moments is what you're doing affecting you?
yeah,
And
yeah,
that's something that you can pay a coach $9,000 and never face that,
yeah,
because you're making these appointments when you're in a good mood. You're not talking to anybody when you're crying. You're
yeah,
isolating. You're going to have a drink and pass out and wake up and just act like everything's fine.
yeah,
I mean, a lot of people can keep on doing that and keep on doing that, and sometimes it could be real awkward to be the conversationalist in breaking
yeah,
these old patterns. And
yeah,
that's what I've been learning, is a lot of times me and my conversations will make people feel uneasy. And then I learned that there are some conversations that are really easy for me.
yeah,
And then there are some conversations that are really hard for me. And it's just like, okay, now let's focus a little bit more on these conversations that are hard in a way where I'm not messing them up worse because I'm focused too much and
yeah,
on them.
yeah.
You
Another
know,
another another big one for me is, it's because a lot of these are, like you said, you can pay $9,000, or you can just be conscious in yourself, right? And so, and again, I go back to, I mean, this, and Morgan would ask me a lot, hey, what are you feeling? Oh,
mm-hmm.
I'm fantastic. It's like just a reaction. But now I pause and I'll say, what am I feeling? And then that
Yeah.
becomes some information, and then it becomes a place in my body. It's associated.
Yeah.
Like I've got two spots in my body that I know there's stuff there. I don't know what it all is, but every time I start, every time I start getting in touch with that feeling that I'm feeling, I end up know I'm working with it because I can feel the change in those two parts of my body.
Well, and I love that you mentioned that, Todd, because like that's kind of the work that I do, right? And so, I've been having a lot of people message me lately about working with them online, and most of my work has been like just really hands-on.
Mhm.
But when I am on the phone with people, that's what I'll have them do, like really feel like, even if it was like, say, your cheek, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
If you take breath into that space and then breathe out and imagine it breathing out of that space, that's what we're learning right now. We're learning to master ourselves.
Yeah.
And so it's like, if you're going to go to teachers and things like that, make sure that it's teachers that are teaching you how to rely on yourself.
Yeah.
Because that's where there's a big shift right now, and it's been happening for years,
Yeah.
and
I
now
agree.
it's really big. And so
I
I
agree
like,
with that.
yeah, you have to learn how to do it yourself. And yes, people do sometimes need coaching and need their friends, and I've gotten coaching.
Absolutely.
But it's like when you have to use the discernment too for what's for you, and know that the universe is gonna, the universe will test you sometimes to do better than you normally would do for yourself, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of us we're not good enough to ourselves, right?
Yeah.
So like the bar's up here and a lot of us are like staying under here, so the universe, yeah, will seem like it's like pushing you, but it's always going to like meet you right where you can afford, right where you can make it, right where you can be there.
Yeah.
It's going to push you those extra 2 steps or whatever, but it's going to make sure that it's definitely something that you can do. And a lot of times in getting body work, I'd be like, all right, do I get body work or go do this thing? And I'm like, well, my body really hurts, so I'm going to go get body work. And then it would be funny because like by doing that and thinking I was like financially setting myself back, I would feel better. Therefore, I would like excel times 2 in my money. And like it was
That's
little
right.
exchanges like that I had to really learn, like, you got to invest in yourself,
Yeah.
because then if you're not investing in yourself, then you're not meeting the universe. You're not
Yeah.
meeting yourself. You're not treating yourself good enough, and that's a really hard thing to understand.
That's a great comment too, for self-reflection for me. I mean, if I look back at my journey, Soulogy's my calling, but also Soulogy could be a distraction.
Yeah.
Soulogy could be that, hey, I'm doing this, so I'm a good person, but I'm learning, taking care of myself, like I bought myself a pair of boots. I got myself,
Yes.
a pair of pants. Morgan got me this really badass essential oil. It's called musk. I love putting that shit on. I'm like, man, it makes me feel good. It makes me smell good. And I know this is
Yes.
crazy, but
No,
I
it
never did.
isn't.
I never did that before.
And I love
Just a
that you're
pair of holy
sharing that.
jeans. Yeah, well, it's true.
I love that
I
you're
mean,
sharing that, because even me as a mom, to go out and get myself a good pair of shoes to work, or to get
yeah,
myself an essential oil to put on to feel good,
yeah,
to
yeah.
eat good food for myself. A lot of people could, they'll look at me sometimes like, the government's shutting down and you're worried about geranium. And I'm like, yeah, dude, that makes me feel good. So
Yeah.
you go over there and worry about this, and me and my baby will roll around over here in this geranium oil.
Yeah.
But
Hell yeah.
that is, I mean, and that is a big part. And that's, it's not like I'm excessive and need all these excessive things, but it's
That,
like, I,
I'm at the point. I'm at the point. I'm serious. Where we're staying right now, there's a big bathtub. I haven't taken a bath and I don't know how long. I mean, I did one at the hotel because Morgan was trying to see what she could do with my hair, but I haven't taken a bath in ages. But I've taken. That's a big enough bathtub. Because one reason I don't is because my legs are too long,
right.
and I got a bony ass, and it just doesn't work for me. But this is a big bathtub. I'm thinking I might just go sit in that bathtub and fill that thing up and just chill, man.
Well, and let me tell you, I'll give you a triple dog dare since you brought it up, right? So, um, in the work that I do, I believe in cold, right? And so, like, if something's hurting, put ice on it, or things like that, right? And so, my job at the casino has really been taking, like, really a lot on my body. And I learned about Wim Hof, I don't know, maybe it's been like 6 or 7 years, right? Have you ever heard of Wim Hof?
No, no, no. Mm-mm.
Well, he does this breathing technique, and then he does cold showers or baths, right? And what it
Okay.
does is, it, like with the breathing technique and then the cold, it'll bring everything to the core of your body, right? And so like it all just like regenerates like your liver and your kidneys and just like all kind of things for you, right? And so what I've been doing for like the past, I'm going to say I've been doing it for like 3 months on the regular. I've been doing cold baths, and it like at first it's like this thing where you gotta like kind of like psych yourself up into it, right?
Mm,
Um, but I
yeah.
will tell you what, as far as my body goes and like my
Mm,
cells and my muscles and everything, like I feel so great when I do that. And like when I skip it and don't do it, I can feel the
mm,
difference for sure. I mean, it just like it's like espresso, man. It just like
mm-hmm.
it's so good for
No,
you.
I know. Yeah, see, I have no problem like jumping in a cold pool or lake, and it's you're right. You kind of like got to psych yourself up, but it does give you this invigoration. Even when I take showers, a lot of times if I'm not energetic, I'll just flip it. I'll even turn it on warm, get my body there, and then flip it cold, and then just stand there, and it invigorates you. I don't know if I'm going to jump into a cold bathtub yet, though.
Well, I mean, it takes some time to build up. Like I've been building it up for quite some time, but like even now, I used to in the winters not be able to like really tolerate like outside Pennsylvania. It's cold, it's frigid, it's
Yeah.
windy, and the weather's been better for me in doing this. Now I've been doing this for a couple years, but just really solid for like the past 3 months.
Wow.
And so like now I even find that like I'm able to like take my shoes off and ground in the snow or on the cold ground a lot
I've seen
better.
people do. I've seen people do send pictures of that on Facebook. Post pictures of that on Facebook, and I think it's kind of cool, man.
Well, and I never was able to do that before because like even just so like if somebody would like open the door, I'd be like, close the door. Like
That's why I'm over here right now.
oh, I know, you lucky dog.
Yeah.
I said, why are all my friends in the damn tropics right now and I'm in Pittsburgh?
Yeah. Yeah. No. Wow. So you're doing some work. You're doing. Somebody says, "Don't forget the rubber ducky." Uh, so, so, so that's not a bad idea, actually.
I know, you got to bring it in there, Todd.
When I was a kid, I used to have my toys in there.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a whole chest of toys in our bathroom.
But no. So you do? Are you doing some of your practice online now? Is that what you were saying? Are you? Is that? Are you?
Um, well, so what I've been doing lately is like working with my friends because I mean, it's like, I know it works, right? But it's just like I've never like I don't know, it's almost like I didn't trust myself well enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Like I know my work is phenomenal and I know like when I can get my hands on your body or like get in the same room as you,
Yeah.
I mean it's
Yeah.
going down. Like you can't there ain't nothing you can do. Like it's going down. Where I wasn't that I didn't feel that solid online like that. Like without actually feeling into that physical body and things like that. So I've been doing a lot of work with my friends and my results have been really wonderful.
Yeah.
And so it's just like really learning new stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
I started these videos just to talk and just to love on one another. And I never even imagined that I would be meeting up with people that have these things going on and that I would be working on them. Um, I've been Reiki 2 certified for probably about 7 years now, too.
Yeah.
And that's like your distance healing. So
Yeah.
I have been doing it. It's just more like we used to do more like collective stuff.
Hmm.
Me and my friends, like to certain areas, that were having a hard time, people, things like that, where now I'm learning to work more like on a personal level with
Yeah. Yeah.
people. So yeah, it's like it's in the works for sure.
Very cool.
It's definitely new and fun and it's funny because like you get nervous sometimes, you know what I mean? Like you just want
Yeah.
someone to feel better, but you can't really intend on that. That's my intention, but I can't really pay attention,
Yeah.
like, and, a lot of times when I'm working on my friends and then they go to release, a lot of times when people are working on you energetically, every time you're going to have a release. And so, you see a lot of people on here lately bashing people for I worked with this person and it hurt me and that no man, that's not what it is. Most of the time like when you get energy work, you have to release.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have and release feels really shitty.
Yeah, yeah.
And so if you have anybody that's working on the actual physical body and helping you to move energy in your body, you're going to have some sort of release. You're going to cuss somebody out. You're going to, do something you don't normally do. You get a rash on your skin. All kind of things can happen. What I've been learning in these past month or so is that, like, people talk about demons and dark energy like they're like these gnarly, like bloody things. When you think of demon, when I think of demon, I think of like this weird looking head with these bloody, fangy teeth. And like, that's like the thing that I get immediately whenever I think of that. But what I'm learning is that's not what it is at all.
No.
It's something ruling you in your emotions. And
Shadow, man.
yeah, it's not something that is going to, wear off on you if you sit next to somebody. It's not going to wear off on you if your mom or dad has these things going on. I remember being a minister and them like saying we needed to do exorcisms, and just like the way they treated the person, like,
yeah.
And it's just like, that's not what it is. It's not this thing that's going to jump out of this person. It's deep emotional trauma that got passed down through DNA for years and years and years and years and years. It's not this gnarly, bloody teeth gremlin thing.
No. Yeah. Thank God it's a new world. Thank God, Goddess, it's a new world.
Yeah.
And just like you said, yeah.
And I think that that's what kept so many people away from, like, even talking about the darkness or the demons, or, you see the yin and the yang, and it's right in front of you, and it's black and white and little dots in both, and there ain't one part of it hiding. Yeah. It's just right there in the front. And it's like, every single one of us, man, has the same something in there. We can all, if we start to talk about it, we're really going to start to see how we all relate. Like I've been linking up with old family, and, the conversations that we'll have about new things that are going on. And then you're like, oh yeah, I know, I've been through that. And they're like, wow, you've been through that? Like, I didn't even know. I've been through that too. And it's just like, we end up laughing about something that we were trying to hide. And like, I was just talking to my cousin the other day at like 6 o'clock in the morning. And she's like, I need to talk to you every morning at 6 o'clock in the morning just to know that, like, these weird things that I have going on are really just totally normal, laughable things.
That's what's so cool about the work I do, because I see it in the comments all the time. New people will drop in and be like, oh my God, I'm not crazy. I mean, this incredible lady, Marita Shoshan in Israel, she came on. She's been doing this work like since 2000. I mean, she's been doing this as an incredible life journey. And she said, until 6 months ago, I thought, there was only a few of us out there. And so that's a huge activator, like what you're talking about with your family. Just people not, hiding that stuff, because that builds up in the body.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I act like I'm an expert now.
I mean, but you're speaking from the all-knowing. You are, I mean, and that's the thing, you are the expert. It's just like a lot of people don't even trust themselves that they are the all-knowing. Like, absolutely, that stores up in your body, holding, hiding the things that you love. And it's so funny, like right now, my mind just went back to this girl that I went to school with. She was so much love, but she loved to draw dragons, and like she would draw a dragon on anything. Like if she had to sit there for 25 minutes, there was like this killer dragon somewhere. And all the kids used to tease her, but like, that was her thing to do. Like, and she was tapped into something long before I even knew what that was, and it's so funny. The more and more people that I meet now that come out with this dragon, my mind immediately goes to her. And I'm like, I bet you if I call her right now, we could have like a killer ass conversation about what did that mean for you?
Yeah. She's probably like totally connected to the dragon, totally.
Like, absolutely. I mean, and we were young when she did it. And like these dragons were fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, they had every little detail and like glisten like to their eyes and their scales, like amazing. But, a lot of people are afraid because it didn't fit the girly, lacy image of what girls were supposed to be doing.
Yeah. So you still doing videos?
Yeah, I've been
I saw one pop up on YouTube the other day.
I backed out a little bit. I'm having some technical IT problems. You know, we talked about that before in my past. So I got a new computer and I was like downloading or uploading my videos from Facebook onto YouTube, and now I don't know
Yeah.
how to do that.
Oh, I could help you with that. It's easy.
You're the best.
I got a good process. Like I just uploaded 18 of them. We're knocking them out, man. Morgan loaded up the schedule.
Yeah, I
But it's actually, I think that's a good idea. It's a good way to archive it too. Because Facebook
yeah.
drops, did you know Facebook drops the videos after a while?
Well, that's when I'm learning that they just drop off. I went to go, somebody was going through something and I knew I had a video about it and I couldn't find it.
Yeah.
And so that's when I was like, man, I really want to get these all together. But
Yeah.
I've been trying to just put something a little bit different together. And then, you know, I've been kind of running on E lately because I was going to take a vacation in December, the end of December. And then my clients were like extra then. And so I never took that vacation. And then I had my uncle pass away and family and my dad. And so I just have been really just trying to be in my moments with my family and things like that, and just really relax with True and make sure that I'm not on the edge. And, you know, I'm a crazy multitasker. So in that time, I've been doing some self work and just really, you know, focusing on me. But yeah, I still do some videos here and there. You know, when my spirit feels pulled to come out here and give and blast the love, then I definitely make it work.
Right on, right on. I've moving into, you know, further experience in the sacred sexual vibration in all capacities. And I know that's part of a big part of your journey. And so I'm getting into some really gold stuff, you know. And so maybe we could collaborate on something. I think it's important. I think it's important for really that the rigid masculine energy in all of us. But it's
and I'm so glad that you brought that up because, you know, sacred sex is my thing, right? And I've been doing this for a while now. And I've had a couple times where like it got to the place where like, you know, I might like I've been shut off from everybody, right? And whenever it comes time to like share my sex, even if it's just like a conversation or whatever, like I can talk about it like this and logically and like with clients and stuff like that. But when they start to mention sex with a partner, my eyes are just like, I don't know. Like, I don't even know what to tell you to do at all. So yeah, I would love to collaborate with you on that, especially because, you know, you do have a partner and you're also, you know, still doing the honorable sacred sex. And, you know, the things that have happened to me through doing that work have been phenomenal. Like, the breakthroughs and the teachings and how I felt inside of me and the things that people that I have worked with have felt inside of them. But I'm getting ready to take a class on Monday about sex and how it's linked to all of your chakras.
Yeah. And I think that's what I'm getting at. You know, it's Morgan just beat me to the punch. There is little actual sex involved, and that's the whole point. That's why I said in all aspects. It's as we know it. I mean, I'm discovering, you know, on this journey, obviously with her, but everything we do, you know, is kind of together. But the thing is there's information here that's profound, and we're not talking sex here. We're talking sexual energy.
Yes.
And I'm actually doing it, you know, and I'm in the infancy of it, and I'm seeing how I'm just getting a glimpse of it, and I'm seeing how powerful and incredible and amazing it is. And so that chakra thing, without even taking a class, I mean, I've just, oh my God, you know, I mean, I felt it coming out of my fingertips and my toes. And we're not talking traditional stuff here. We're talking about the energy itself contained in our bodies
Yes.
and moving it around, and sometimes having to lay down and breathe and like, settle it down. But I mean, it's our creativity, it's our
Life
intuition,
force.
it's
It's
sacred
like life
wisdom.
force.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that is the part that I do know. And when and me being by myself, like it's a very safe place for me. I have girlfriends around me and I have some clients even that like I'm able to talk about things with. Um, but in my sex life and in my sex space has been a place for my whole life that I've really been shut down on. And I never really knew how to share that. And so when I tell people that I've never really had relationships, that's why, because and even now I started to think like, how attractive is that to a man, a girl who could really care less about sex?
hey, you
Now,
know what? Don't doubt it.
well, I mean, all I'm saying is like, coming from the old, that's how I used to think all the time. Like, I'm sure he would just want to have a woman that just wants to have sex all the time, where I was never really that type of woman. And then like in learning this, I was thinking like, all right, so now I want to have sex all the time, then what? I'm not going to have any energy to be doing this stuff that I'm
Yeah.
doing. Like, I want to be able to attract someone into my life that understands how much this practice has charged up my body and charged up my life.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
not only that, I still see that in facing my sex and my sacred sex and everything, that there's still a lot of things that I'm hiding from that I subconsciously don't know about.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
that's what I'm so excited for with this class coming up, is that like I really want to feel free in my sex space where,
Yeah.
even I've learned that even the sacred sex practice that I've come up with is just another tricky name for isolation.
Yeah. 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 It's powerful, and I think we would be able to work through the subject. I'm going to use the word sacred sex versus sex, because it's not sex. Because it's sacred sex, and sacred sexual energy, and it is life force.
I mean,
And,
it's like
and
sex with God. It's like sex with the
yeah,
creator. It's sex with
it's like sex with yourself, basically. But
it's with yourself. It's all
yeah,
of that energy within
yeah,
yourself, and it's beautiful. And it's funny because um, even just with myself, by myself, all it was like I was like embarrassed or like unsure or things like that. And the more that you explore yourself, the more that you start to get comfortable with it and trust it a
yeah.
little bit better and things like that. But um, when you're shut off in your sex space, that is stopping your I can
That is a huge blockage, and
in
I've
creation.
seen, and Janie's asking some questions here. I think, get the course started. We're going to be in transition, uh, first part through the middle part of the week, and so I think we're knocking out like 35, 40 shows in 12 days. That'll be done. It's Tuesday morning, and maybe we regroup in a few days, and we're going to start scheduling some stuff, and maybe it's a very, very, very important subject,
I agree.
and I think it's an extremely important subject, uh, to for everyone, but I think in particular because of where the masculine energy is now, that it be put out there for the masculine energy, because it's we're moving to the other side now. We're moving to that higher ground. That feminine energy is leading the way, and in order for it to do it, the masculine energy's really got to support it, and that's a huge one. I mean, that's where all our suppression has been in this realm, and that's also, like everything else, our biggest shadow, and this is where our biggest gold is, and it
Mm-hmm.
just makes sense. So I think we'd be great collaborating on it.
I
So I'll
would
hit you
love
up.
to.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
had a meditation just the other day.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of my meditations sometimes, like, I don't know, because like my mind was blown from this, but it said, it hit well for me on the woman as far as like, what I just said to you, like, how sexy is it, a woman that doesn't really care about sex, right? And then the divine masculine in my meditation was like, well, I'm trying to get like you.
Yes,
I'm
man.
trying to do
Yeah,
that.
totally.
And
Yeah.
so that was like a really beautiful meditation for my heart. And so it's so
When,
cool, Todd. Thank you for
yeah,
letting me hear you as a
yeah,
man
yeah.
say that, because it's not like I'm like in this man hater woman club,
No,
right?
no, no, no. I get what you're saying. I totally get what you're saying. I'm totally getting what your masculine's saying because I, I, I'm fortunate because I'm in a physical representation of this energy in the relationship I'm in. So I'm with someone who doesn't care.
Right.
Both, I'm saying this both figuratively and literally, doesn't
Right.
care if I'm hard or if I'm soft. Doesn't
Right.
care if I
Loves you.
doesn't want performance. It's not about that. And so if I never said that, what your masculine said to your feminine, but I would have said that had I known how to say it. And how do I get to that point? I'm at that point now.
Well,
Okay.
this was in a
Yeah.
meditation. So I've been having these meditations and dreams where it's like these chakra people. They're not people. Like, they have no skin, they have no flesh, they have no anything. They're just these chakra people. And so when I was meditating, my feelings, my actual real feelings will come up. And that was one of my feelings in this meditation of, you know, like, I mean, what do you really have to offer a man? Like, as far as that it comes to turn, I hear my girlfriends and they're out here wilding out, and I'm like, I'm not doing that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know how you're not tired and beat up and sleeping
Well,
right now.
and you're depleting your life's force. I mean,
Yes.
there's a time for everything,
Yes.
and you can have what we might call romantic interludes that might look a little bit traditional, but they're so packed with pure love, sacred sexual energy that the impact of them lasts for weeks. So it's not like
Yes.
we're not like rabbits, we're not meant to be. But it's way beyond that. It's just forget all the Kama Sutra positions, forget all that stuff. We're talking about chi, we're talking about
Yes.
life force, and we're talking about getting in touch with it and controlling it. And I'm saying this as a man, who's coming to who's just
Feeling
saying,
it.
what, we
You're
need to
living it.
talk. Yeah, we need to talk about it. I'm in the early stages, so I'm like totally going, holy fucking shift. You know what? Game on, and
Well, and I think that, the more that you're able to like love on yourself, like self-love, make everything romantic for you,
yeah,
the less you really rely on to fill you up. Like, that's why I
yeah,
think a lot of people feel so depleted, is because, like, you know, all of that, to me, when you're with a partner, I mean, I don't know, I never really have been, right? But I have these like knowings that I just know, and it's just like,
yeah.
it shouldn't be about that.
It's not. Yeah,
If you base a relationship on that,
no.
I mean, what happens when there's an
That's
off time? What happens when there's
yeah,
something going on? I always said, like, I feel like my man should be able to travel the world for 2 years, and I'm like, I'm good, babe. Like, I
yeah,
love everything about you.
yeah.
Keep going. Where people get real controlling in that sex space, and it's like, instead of the I can, they're trying to like
I can,
dominate
I
that other
control.
person.
I
Yeah.
control. Yeah,
Yeah. And
and
that's why I've
so
always kind of stayed
yeah,
away from, I
yeah,
always saw unhealthy sex, and I never knew,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
who am I to be judging someone's
yeah.
sex? But you would see it in them. And it's almost like the people that do save up that life force energy and that do, honor that life force energy, you can see that come from their skin, and you can see that, and it's like, maybe not right away, right away I wasn't really attracting that person, but like, as I go through this and as I get my test, the universe is showing me through the people that I'm meeting about, people that I'm drawing myself into, more people that are like
Yeah,
me.
yeah, exactly. And I go back to one of the rules of the road for me in in my personal trip, which has been whatever we were doing, whatever you were doing, Todd, that shit wasn't working. So
Yeah.
you can't expect to elevate, ascend, expand if you're using the old
Same
way.
thing.
So and this this is where the rubber meets the road. I mean, this is where we store all of our deepest
Yeah.
shadows and all that. And we know that. We know that. So
Yeah.
now we've entered a new dimension. We've entered a new space, and it's really time to start talking about it. So in the spontaneity of this beautiful experience we're having, and in our kindredness and resonance for each other, I think there's no coincidences. So I think this is a great subject for us to collaborate on with our, our different perspectives in our polarities as a man, as a woman, age, and so on, and life experience. And so I'd love to do it with you. I love you.
I love you too.
Best to you and true always. And
Yeah, you and Morgan too. And I definitely, that's something that I look forward to. I do agree. We got to bring it up and we got to talk about it because,
yeah,
you can't embody love if your sex is off, and it's funny because like that's the part that no one really wants to talk about. They don't want to talk about, and a lot of my clients have been really letting some personal stuff out in that space lately.
And that is the ultimate intimacy, the ultimate vulnerability. It really is, and it is a sexual energy. So you're either in a room, in a closet, by yourself, handling your sexual energy in an unhealthy isolation, hiding, or you're absolutely exposing it to the nth degree because it's the pure power that we are.
Well, yeah, and like the more that I'm able to make everything that I do sexy but not related to sex at all, the more this flow is easier to be in. The more that it's easier to ride this love wave. Because I never used to feel sexy before. When you have 5 knee surgeries.
It's a sacred sex.
It is a most sacred sexy, and it's like kind of like you can't touch this ever unless you're magical.
It's like it's like this. The Jesus was sexy, like Magdalene was sexy, like Kuan Yin's sexy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like this. It's like me with this essential oil that she got me.
Yes,
I haven't worn any, so I'm putting this shit on. I ain't putting it on for her.
You're putting it on for you. I know.
Putting it on for me.
And that's how, I love that you're sharing this about you and Morgan's relationship because that's what I believe that love is. Not that Todd is wearing this because his woman loves it, that Todd is doing the things that he loves because he loves that, and that Morgan loves Todd for doing the things that he loves to do, and vice versa. I'm sure that Morgan has many things that she's doing that keep her going, and that is what it is about the sacred sex, is that you really just cherish your body. The sacredness is the sacredness between you and the universe, you being the universe, you being all that you are and see and do. And it's just if anything I think in the world can teach you that, it is to go into your sex and to see what does sex even mean to you? That's what I end up doing with a lot of my clients, is saying what does sex even mean to you? And there's a different answer between men and women.
This is going to be a great series because, from coming from a man's perspective and realizing and experiencing for many years power through sex, but then to have the contrast now of the power
through sacred sex.
My limited experience of sacred sex, which is not positions. It can be just holding hands. It can be putting on that oil on my body. It can be with her, without her. It is, there is not even, it's like an ant on an elephant's ass. You know what I mean? I mean, it's like the old way is the ant, and the new, and the sacred sexual way, which is older, is the elephant, man. I mean, this is dynamite, and I think it's very important. So I look forward to it. I'm gonna hit you up. I'm gonna go lay down.
Yeah, me too. But I love this.
Yeah, this was.
I love this. Yeah, I'm starting to come back to life, Todd. So thank you for having me today. I love all of you. Look forward to getting up with you later.
All right, you take care.
Bye, guys. Have a good night.